Hiya. If you are watching this video, then you have said yes to helping me beta test what I'm calling my Salesforce Consulting Journal program. The reason why I've decided to build this is because I was thinking that it would have been so helpful for somebody like myself when I was just starting in my career so that I can document my journey, my learnings, the projects that I've been on, mentoring feedback, place to jot down reflections, area of improvement, and make plans for a technical, a functional, and leadership pathway for my career development. So, full disclosure, I have got Claude.ai to help me build this using Google Apps Script, which I will make available to everyone so that you can tweak it and make it how you like. But I am keen to get feedback to create something that would be very valuable to any new consultants out there. So this is not just for sales consultant, but any software consulting. So I can see myself using this in the Microsoft world when I got started many, many moons ago. So here you go. Now, if you are watching this video, you'll know the link. If I put it on YouTube, I'll put it on the description as well. But once you access this, you'll find that it's view only. What that means is you now have to make a copy. So make a copy, and I will call it paste copy off. Okay, so note that there'll be a script that will be copied over. It will ask you about permissions. I am not an expert, but I've got someone to help me review it. Even though it's asking for a lot of permission right now, the application itself doesn't, you know, isn't designed to do anything bad other than, creating some worksheets and things like that. However, as I mentioned, I will make the code open to everyone so that you can modify it as you see fit. So hit make a copy, and it goes and does its thing. And as I was designing, I thought I would have loved to have something like this in as I was starting out my career. So when you get started and click on instructions, you'll see that at the moment I've got daily journal, weekly review, the tracker, career objectives, skills matrix, and mentor feedback. So I actually wanted to make it so that people can print out and put it into a actual hardbound journal because I'm a bit old school. I would have liked, paper and pen that I could scribble on. So I thought this would be a halfway house when I've designed it correctly. You should be able to print it out in A4 and then, put it in a file or file of facts or something lovely and fancy and, make notes and scribble and go back and review. That feels a lot more tactile than looking at electronic journals, but that's just me. I know different people have different likes. So this is what I've got here. Now, let me just very quickly show you the project tracker. So click on project tracker. There is an example record here. So this is a bytecode implementation. So I would have loved to have recorded this from the beginning of my career so that I could see every single project I've been on. I'm sure I've been on far more than what comes to mind. So as you go through your career, jot down who the client was, maybe even link to the website, the role that you had, start and end date. So just a quick tip, if you join a large GSI or global systems integrator like Capgemini or IBM, for example, they are likely to ask you for a history of all your projects. And the reason for that is so that when if you're hired as an experienced consultant, they can match you. So for example, I have had experience with an insurance brokerage in China, implementing sales cloud with voice at a time. So if that was in my history, my organization can very quickly match me to a project if there's an insurance project or any that was based in China, for example. So that's the reason why it's very useful to have a portfolio like this of the projects that you've been on. You can add, what your responsibilities are, what skills you've applied, what learnings that you've had. I already have one piece of feedback, which is who are the other people on the projects that I think would be also quite useful. So I'm gathering feedback. I will have to figure out how to collect those, probably in a form or an email. Probably a form. If it's a form, I'll put the Google link in the description of this YouTube, or be getting it via email in the email itself. So that's the project tracker. Then I have career objectives. So I think this is very good. I've put here 6 months probation objective because in the UK, most when you join a company, you're given 6 months to figure out if that's where you want to stay, or and vice versa, whether the company is a good fit for you. So it's useful to put down what category it is, what objective you want to achieve within 6 months, what the success criteria, your target date, for example. So I usually tell people to come up with 4 or 5 objectives for the year. I think maybe what we might want is a year as well up here. So the yearly objectives. So not just target date, but the objectives for the year. So I suggest about 4 or 5 objectives that you can add. One would be your technical skills. It's quite easy to say, to achieve a new certification or maintain your existing ones for this year. You might want to do training as well, how many trailhead badges you are planning to achieve and how many points you're going to achieve, for example, how many projects you would like to do. Although that one sometimes may not be within your control, especially if you're working for a consulting partner. You might want to do value add activities such as helping with pre-sales engagement. How many? So make sure that when you put it there, make sure that your objectives or your goals are smart. So how many pre-sales activities might you want to join? How many blogs do you want to write, or conferences that you might want to speak at? So all of this will go towards at the end of 6 months or the year, if you're doing this continuously, to say, hey, company, look at all these amazing things that I've done. All of this drove revenue, or some of these have elevated the company. And, where I speak, I tell people I'm working in this company. And so there's more visibility of the things that we do and how we do what we do so well, and so on and so forth. So I think this is very good to keep track. And you can, if you have a year column, which I will add, then you can see your progress year by year. So next we have skills matrix. I haven't quite fleshed out this bit yet, apart from the fact that I think I probably need a rubric, or at least a table that says what does level 1 look like, level 2, level 3, level 4 look like, so that you can correctly identify where you're at and where you want to go next within a time frame. Do I have time frame here? Maybe we should. So I would like to hear your feedback on how we could make this more useful, but this is my first go on that. Mentor feedback. I think this is so useful, which is as you go through your career, you're going to find many mentors of different kind. It could be a project manager, it could be your functional lead consultant, it could be an adjacent somebody else in the industry, could be somebody in the conference, in the community. It could be anyone. So I think it's very useful to have a log, and should have a column here that says who that person is, for example, and the date that you've had that conversation, what you discussed, what's your feedback. And it could be anything from how you handled a client, how you created a technical piece of functionality, how you wrote documentation, how you are communicating with your work colleagues, how you show up, how you are with your presentation skills, your networking skills, communication skills, anything. I think it's very useful to log it here. Obviously, it's not useful if you don't have what action you're going to take to remediate or to make it better, for example. And also, things like due date, status, and any follow-up notes. I think it's pretty good. Obviously, it is a little bit more, I feel it is more complete than skills matrix. I've got to work on that a little bit more, I think. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more technical. So I was, a lot more technical in Microsoft World, less so in Salesforce, but I can still find my way around. Now, remember I mentioned that how do I get there? Here, I've got a daily and a weekly review. And one of the things that I wanted the script to do is I wanted it to create a worksheet every day that I wanted to write in my journal. And I didn't want to have many, many, many sheets. And I wanted it to automatically date my worksheet as well, because I'm lazy that way. So I got Claude.ai. And just as an aside, I love Claude because it's the data privacy clauses makes me feel a lot more comfortable that they care about it, so that they're not going to use my data to train the LLM. And so I feel that I'm able to be as creative as I want. So I got Claude to write me a script. So have a look here. Because this is brand new, it won't. Oh, I've got journal actions here already. How did I get? So if it didn't, I think maybe Google Sheet made some changes. If you don't have journal actions, then you need to go into extensions and you need to run some scripts. But since it's here, you tell me if this has appeared for you or not. So you can do create new daily entry. If I click that, it will run the script. Authorization required. Okay. Right, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm getting it to approve the authorization, and it should go away and create for me a daily worksheet. So at the moment, it is naming it this way, daily underscore year, month, day. So if I click on that, there you go. It will automatically put in the date. What I would suggest is use this to log the things that you do for the client and what activity, whether it's billable or not, and the notes for that activity. So even if your company doesn't require you to do detailed timesheets specifically for invoicing purpose, it is useful for you to do it anyway, because that way you've got a log, especially for staff augmentation kind of projects where you are in the client side project team and you're taking instructions from the project manager or the product owner or anyone on the client side who might change their minds and get you to do rework. And what that means is that they can't say it's taking you a long time to do a piece of work, because now you have documentation that proves that they have changed their mind a few times and you had to do some rework, and that's why it's taken a bit longer. So I would put it there, the things that you've done, add as much note as you feel comfortable. I would be aware of data privacy, because in the UK, at least, you have clients who have the right to demand all records pertaining to them. So you don't want, if your project manager asks you to turn over your documentation, if your project goes legal, you don't want in the notes that you've been found to say things that are not very nice when the person you're talking about hears what you've said about them. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of situations where that has been true. So at the moment, I've got a few fields in here. So what solutions I've attempted, what technical skills. So maybe this time I've learned to use Agentforce. I'm, using that for the first time. What the client interaction, I'm not quite sure if this has a place here at all or not. Maybe some questions that you want to bring up to a mentor or somebody that you want to ask a question that you're not sure of. Common things like, say if I was a junior, I was in a workshop with some senior team members, and I noticed that somebody senior have said something that wasn't entirely accurate or truthful to the client, but I have had a feeling that it wasn't safe for me to actually put out my hand and help get some clarity. What should I do in those other situations? I think you should actually jot down those sort of questions or thinking, because that will help you get the answers you need rather than forgetting about it and until the next time it happens again. Key learning is also really quite useful. I'm trying to think whether it is useful to have maybe a common area for key learning so that you don't have to step through all the daily pages to find it. Anyway, let me know what you think. Tomorrow practice is a good one because it will help you plan. So that's the daily worksheet, and you can keep adding. I found out that Google Sheet has a maximum of 200 worksheets. My thinking in the UK, I think 206 working days, it might be okay, except that here you probably also want your weekly review. Although it might be useful to have two different copies of this, one for your daily journal and one for your weekly one, or you might want to just split out these other items and just have them as a separate worksheet for because this would go across multiple years, I would imagine. So let's have a look at the weekly entry. Weekly entry is very similar. So you got week 3 of 2025. At the moment, this is what I've got. What projects that I've completed this week, the weekly summary, achievements, any major challenges that we've overcome, learning progress, client feedback received. This is a lovely one. I think everyone should have a place where they keep all happy and feedback from clients or from colleagues or anyone, even if it's like emails or little Slack messages. So for me, I personally keep mine on WhatsApp because it's just so easy. I would grab a screenshot and I would stick it in a WhatsApp group that I have with myself so that I can view when I'm having a rough day and to remind me that I'm actually better than I think I am. When you're feeling not great, you usually have a slightly lower opinion of yourself. You think less of yourself. So it's always good to have that. Time management review is a good one to say, hey, was I good on time or with my time management or not? Or was I stressed? Anything I need to work on, goals for next week, and any support needed. So I think it would be good maybe to find a way to expand this. But I am more mature in my career now, so I would welcome feedback from those who are just starting out, who, if you, obviously, like I said, I think you can look at the scripts and you can modify this and run it how you like. This is open to you. It's not mine at all. I'm not laying any claim. It's free to anyone to use. But I want to create something that includes as much detail or information or functionality for all the new consultants out there. They can just come to one place and just make a copy and then, edit stuff for themselves. So I would welcome all feedback. So thank you very much for letting me talk about this. I hope you found it useful. If again, if you've got any suggestions, thoughts, or feedback, I would be more than happy to take them on board and find a way to incorporate them. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.